Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So excited to make another video for you guys. Today I want to talk something about pregnancy in general. You know, since the time I've posted about my pregnancy, I have gotten tons and tons of questions. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at Social Nupur. You can find it here. And you know, I post a lot about my pregnancy updates, my life, entrepreneurship, what I do, so check it out. But a lot of the questions that I got was, what are some of the things that I would recommend to somebody who's trying, or just general tips and advice. So I thought, why not make this video with 5 things that I wish I knew before I got pregnant. So let's dive right into it. Now, pregnancy is a beautiful journey, no doubt. Some people call it a miracle, some people call it magical, dreamy. True, but you know, there's a side of pregnancy that nobody talks about, the hard part. And at least through my channel and my videos, that's my aim, to talk about things that are difficult, that are, you know, taboo, that people hesitate to talk about, either fear of being judged in society or people finding them imperfect. So many connotations, but to me, you know, it's a part of our lives, and whether you choose to have or not have kids, you know, it's important to be real, and that's what I'm trying to be on my channel. So there are a lot of things that in hindsight, when I think about, I wish somebody told me, or I wish that I knew before trying for a baby, or you know, going through that entire process. So here I am, and the number one thing that I will tell everybody is, know that having a baby or trying for a baby is not easy. And that's something I wish I knew, because when I went into the whole TTC process, I went in thinking, oh, you know, it's just having a baby. You just, you know, kind of do your baby dance, which is a political term for doing the act. And you know, voila, you'll get pregnant. You know, maybe not the first time, maybe the second time, or maybe the third time. It's going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's what I thought. And you know, like your entire teenage or adulthood, when you're dating, everybody's like, oh, be careful, don't get pregnant. There's so much taboo around it, unnecessary. But you know, we assume that it's a very easy process. But when you actually start trying, what you realize that there are so many things to it, that it almost becomes like a scientific process, and not something that, you know, just you sip a glass of wine and it happens. And of course, you know, it happens for some people. Some people have it very easy. Some people have a baby in the first try. Some people, you know, don't even expect it and it happens. And every body, every journey is so different. But this is for everyone who thinks it could be easy. It may be easy, but there's also a lot of people who face a lot of challenges, right? Kaushik and I had our own set of challenges. We learned a lot in the process. And the one thing I definitely realized is that, you know, it's not an easy process. Keep your expectations very practical. It could take you the first try. It could take you a few months. It could take you a year. It could take a couple of years. Or it may never happen. You know, our bodies are so different. But what I can tell you is that there are a lot of solutions and a lot of treatments today available. So, you know, if something is not working out, do not hesitate to seek out a doctor. Do not hesitate to go to your fertility specialist or your OBGYN and say, hey, this process is very overwhelming. It's not as easy as it may think. What can I do to make it better? Can you diagnose to see what's going wrong? And it's totally okay. So the first thing is, you know, understand, keep your expectations very realistic, and understand that it may not be an easy journey. It could be. If it is, congratulations, you're the lucky one. If it's not, you're not the only one, is my point. The number 2 thing I realized is that there's a lot of technical aspect to having a baby, which I didn't know, right? So Kaushik and I, when we started trying, we just started trying. You know, we were just having fun, not realizing that there are, you know, certain dates that you're the most fertile. There are certain tools you can use to determine when you're most fertile. So that was something we learned on the way, and it kind of surprises me and it blows my mind that as girls, when we are growing up, there's, you know, you have your biology classes where people talk about the biological aspect of it. But nobody talks about what goes into making a baby, or, you know, how to track your ovulation, how to know whether your periods are indicative of something else, or, you know, the woman reproductive system in general is not spoken enough about. And that is something I only realized when we went to try for a baby, which to me is not the right thing, right? Tomorrow if I have a daughter, or anybody who has a daughter or a son, you have to have that as part of the education so that people are aware what entails in the process. So that was my biggest pet peeve, that I didn't really know about it. So educate yourself is what I would say, right? Before you start trying, understand when you're ovulating. A lot of apps like Ovia, Flow, etc., and I'll leave the links to some of the apps that I used below that can help you track your ovulation. Because if you track your ovulation, you'll know when you're the most fertile and you have a higher chance of conceiving. The other thing is that there are OPK sticks, ovulation test kits, which means that you could, use those test kits and determine when you're ovulating. There's a surge in your body that happens, a hormonal surge, which kind of is detected on those sticks, and you'll understand better as to when you're ovulating, and that way you can plan you and your partner's TTC, or the trying to conceive journey, a bit better. So I think we were trying for a while before we realized, oh, there's something like an OPK stick or an ovulation tracker which could give us a sense of when I was the most fertile to actually try, and that just increases your chances of pregnancy. So make sure you educate yourself on these things, the OPK sticks, your ovulation, your periods, your cycle length, all these things. I would say even get a journal, write it down, things that will help you understand your body better and your husband's body better. So that's the first aspect of it, right? The third thing that I would say I wish I knew is that it's very, very important to get your checkup done. So, the reproductive system is complicated. Our body is complicated. And, there are so many moving parts that it's important that all of the moving parts are kind of working, are in a position for you to, have a human being in your body. Your health of your ovaries, your uterus, your eggs, your hormones. There are so many things that you have to keep in mind, and that's something I wasn't aware at the start. It's only through the journey that I realized that you have a panel, a test that you can do to understand how many eggs you have in your body, what is the quality of it, what are your follicle counts, what is your vitamin D level, what is your thyroid level, because all of this makes up, your reproductive journey and the health of your entire reproductive system. So, try it if it's easy. If you conceive, great. If you're not, ask your doctor, your nurse, your OBGYN to get a panel done where you're testing your AMH level, which tells you your egg quantity, your FSH level, your thyroid, and vitamin D. These are 4 very important things that you should definitely get checked. And if you have a fibroid or a cyst or endometriosis, those are things you also want to get it checked before you start your journey, just to make your life easier and there are no surprises. Of course, there'll always be some surprise, but at least you know where you stand in terms of your reproductive health. So definitely have that conversation with your doctor or your nurse, and have a plan is what I would say. Of course, in the process, don't forget to have fun, but honestly, when you're trying for a long period of time, you have to be very strategic about it, and that's just a reality. The fourth thing that I wish I knew was that you have to be your biggest advocate. Now, when I say that, I just don't mean in your process of conceiving, but also in your pregnancy. There will be a lot of situations where you have a gut feeling, you feel something, but your doctor says, it's perfectly fine. Your husband, your family says it's perfectly fine. You're overthinking it. Now, I'm a hypochondriac sometimes. I overanalyze everything. I overthink everything. And so, sometimes when something is happening in my body, I start to doubt whether is it just me being overtly hyper and, too hypochondriac, or am I actually feeling this? But over time, what I realize is that women have an amazing intuitive gut feeling system, right? So if you feel something is wrong, it may be okay, but it could also be wrong. So make sure you check it out. And every time I've had that gut feeling and I've got myself checked, something has come out of it. Now, it may not be all the cases, but what I have learned that even if everybody tells me it's okay and I feel something is wrong, I rather get it checked out than worry about it. So, you have to be, the pregnancy journey is intense. There's so much hormonal changes going in your body. Even during the trying process, there's just so much happening. You and your husband have to be the biggest advocate of your journey. You have to be the biggest advocate of your body. If there is something wrong, check it out. If you feel that you need help, you need support, seek it out. It always helps. That's something I would, highly recommend. And, there've been cases in my pregnancy where things turned out okay, but, the fact that I got it checked really helped me reduce my anxiety and, mental stress about it. And, the other thing I would add to it is that have a support system. Very important. It's hard, when people are like, when are you having a baby? What's happening? And that pressure kind of gets to you. So choose your friends and your support system very wisely. Find people you can trust, and, other people's experience could sometimes really help you. Forums, Facebook groups, Google sometimes are very helpful, but at the same time can give you anxiety, because usually people only who have problems will post things like that, right? And your body and someone else's body could be very different. So have a support system of people you trust, who you could seek out, and the days you feel stressed, you feel like, oh my god, everything's too overwhelming, talk to them. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, is, and it's the hardest one, to be very honest with you, don't compare your journey or don't compare your body with anyone else. And I say that in hindsight. In that moment, it's very difficult. I totally understand that, but keep it in your mind always, whether it's in your TTC journey, whether it's pregnancy, postpartum. Everybody, every journey, trust me, is so different that if somebody tells you something, it may not be applicable to you. I remember when I was trying to conceive, there were a lot of people around me who were getting pregnant, and it made me think that, am I the only one? There all these questions came up, and there obviously came a point where I was questioning everything, not knowing that my journey is very different from someone else, and it's okay to seek help. It's okay to ask a doctor. It's okay to take your time. So that's something in hindsight I'm able to talk about it. Of course, I'll share more about those things in my other videos, but if you compare, which you likely will, at some point you need to say, okay, you need to stop and focus on yourself, your husband, your children, your journey, and everything. And it helps. Again, that support system will come in handy. If it helps, write down, reach out to me, reach out to anybody you trust, talk to your doctor, talk to your nurse. There is a huge pool of people who could help you understand and focus completely on your journey. So these are the little things, I wish I knew before I was pregnant. Somebody told me, it's okay, Nupur, to, focus on your journey. You will tend to compare. That's okay. Do this test, do that test. And it can get overwhelming, but it can also support you a lot. So I hope this video was useful, and I hope my experiences does help in some way. If you have questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm always there to answer it. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I share a lot about my life, my husband, my family, my pregnancy journey, everything. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, lots of love.